So China is planning to deploy floating nuclear reactors to disputed areas of the South China Sea, and it is raising significant safety and geopolitical concerns. China intends to send around 20 floating nuclear power plants to islands it illegally claims in the South China Sea. This region is the center of a long-standing territorial dispute involving China and several other countries, including Vietnam and the Philippines. Despite a 2016 ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which rejected China's expansive claims as having no legal basis, Beijing continues to assert control over nearly the entire South China Sea. So where are we talking here? So since 2014, China has been constructing these artificial islands, which are claimed by Vietnam up in Paracels, as well as claimed by the Philippines in the Spratlys. The deployment of nuclear power plants would likely bolster China's control over these militarized islands, further heightening tensions with Vietnam and the Philippines. These countries view China's reactor plans as a direct challenge to their sovereignty. For instance, Vietnam's 2008 law on atomic energy requires nuclear-powered vessels in its waters to be authorized by the Prime Minister. Although the Philippines lacks similar regulations, Manila can still assert its right to monitor Chinese nuclear plants under its maritime laws within its exclusive economic zone. Now, these floating nuclear power plants pose several safety concerns. The risk of nuclear accidents, including leaks or spills, could have catastrophic consequences for the marine environment and coastal populations. The South China Sea's susceptibility to typhoons and rough seas increases this risk. Radioactive contamination could severely impact marine biodiversity, fisheries, and the livelihoods of communities dependent on the sea. Floating nuclear plants could be targets for piracy, terrorism, or military attacks, which have significant security risks. Now, there are concerns existing regarding China's adherence to international nuclear safety and regulatory standards. This is because there are varying regulations across countries that all claim this territory. Handling and disposing of nuclear waste from these floating plants presents additional challenges, which requires effective management systems to prevent environmental contamination. And then there's the proliferation risk. The presence of nuclear reactors in a contested region raises concerns about nuclear proliferation and the potential diversion of the technology and the materials for non-peaceful purposes to terrorist groups or pirates or anyone that can get their hands on it. The emergency response in this situation wouldn't be very well coordinated because all of these countries have territorial disputes, so anything that happens would be hindered, and the deployment could... And this is going to exacerbate geopolitical tensions, leading to conflicts that might further compromise safety protocols and emergency response mechanisms were something catastrophic to happen. However, the fact of the matter is China is not going to yield to external pressure on this, and although they are violating international norms, there's no international law specifically on this situation, mainly because it's never come up before. So it creates a problem where China can dare other countries to do something about their nuclear reactors and China's presence on these islands, which places the international community that is attempting to counter China in a really precarious position. We either allow China to steal this territory, put nuclear reactors on it, shirk international laws and norms, or we risk an ecological nuclear disaster trying to eject China from the islands.